Thing is, the bag is not the money. The bag is the thing that holds on to the money. The bag is the thing that holds the contents, right? The bag is the thing that holds everything that goes in there. So you are the thing that holds all of it. You're the thing that holds your purpose, right? You're the thing that holds your soul. You're the thing that holds your gifts and your talents and all of that. So you are the bag because the bag is the thing that holds it all together. Your physical being, like we talked about last week, is the thing that holds it all together. Your temple is a part of the bag. But you holistically and completely living an authentic life is you maximizing your bag, is you leveraging your bag. What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Practice the Podcast, where we fuse research and culture to help you develop the mindset, habits, and skills that you need in order to live out your purpose with confidence. I'm your host, Coach Rees. It's time to get better, y'all. Let's grow.
We talking about practice. Not a game. We talking about practice.
Practices are meant to be competitive. They're meant to be competitive. If your practices aren't more competitive than the games themselves, you're doing the wrong thing.
All right, y'all, we are in episode 29, and today we talking about money, y'all. We talking about financial wellness. So we're still continuing the conversation of the confident energy giving system. But you got to know, energy giving system goes like this. You got spiritually, mentally, emotionally, financially. Those are your core four. After every core four, it boils down to relationally and then financially. These are 6 areas that I believe that if you invest in these areas consistently on a daily basis, you will be able, one, to have confidence in them and in living a holistic life that you truly enjoy, that is your best life, your most authentic life, and you'll be able to reap the benefits from the seeds that you sow on a daily basis. And so financial wellness is something that is very near and dear to my heart, that I never thought would be. I didn't think it would be a part of my story, but let me not jump to that part just yet. So let's go back. The quote for today's episode is, "You are the bag." Okay, that's from yours truly. The quote from today's episode is, "You are the bag." And the reason why I coined and literally trademarked this term, "You are the bag," is because, as you know, in the culture, we talk about the bag. The bag is it. But here's the thing. When I talk to students and I tell them, "You are the bag," and I say, "What's the bag?" They go, "The bag is the money." But the thing is, the bag is not the money. The bag is the thing that holds on to the money. The bag is the thing that holds the contents, right? The bag is the thing that holds everything that goes in there. So you are the thing that holds all of it. You're the thing that holds your purpose, right? You're the thing that holds your soul. You're the thing that holds your gifts and your talents and all of that. So you are the bag because the bag is the thing that holds it all together. Your physical being, like we talked about last week, is the thing that holds it all together. Your temple is a part of the bag. But you holistically and completely living an authentic life is you maximizing your bag, is you leveraging your bag. So this is why I'm so passionate about it, is because, like, when I think about people living out their purpose, I believe that your purpose is connected to 2 things: people and profit. And I have to know how I'm going to leverage my bag and what I want that to look like, because I needed to connect to people and I need to connect to profit, because I want to give. I'm a giver, and I can't give if I don't have. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't give out scholarships and trips and do the different things that I do and gift cards, all this stuff, if I don't have the money to give it. So a lot of my prayers is like, okay, God, I want to give X amount. That means I got to make X amount, right? Because I want to be able to give. I get joy from that. So that's people. There's also people in the sense, I'm getting ahead of myself, but I'm going to go anyways. A sense of people, if you're supposed to be doing business with other people, you're supposed to collaborate. You're supposed to be able to not do any, and it's not just business, because you may not want to be an entrepreneur, but doing life with people, right? Money is supposed to enhance your lifestyle, right? And your ability to do life with people in different ways. Right? That's the people, and that's the profit of it. So before I get too far ahead, because your girl will go and I'll be like, "Ooh, I want this episode to be 15 minutes. We'll fool around and be here for 15 hours. So I got to make sure I kind of stick to my notes, because I want to make sure you listen and finish the episode. And obviously there's so much more. This won't be the last time that we talk about money. Same shameless plug. Starting next week, I'm dropping a new podcast show to go along with Practice the Podcast, but it's called Winning and Money Ain't Everything. Winning and money ain't everything, because it ain't. Your purpose is. But what we'll be talking about is money, finances, obviously behavioral psychology. When it comes to finances or behavioral finance, we'll also be talking about business, entrepreneurship, leadership, all those different aspects, and really breaking down how winning in money isn't everything. They're just a part of the equation. So make sure you follow along and look out for that. But before we get into the rest of today's episode, we got to bring in a song. So last episode, our song was by Beyonce, right? In Pretty Hurts. But this week, we got to get something from Jay-Z. And I don't know. I probably could do a whole podcast series just based off of all of their songs, because I'm a fan of their work. But this one, though, is called Legacy, and it's off of Jay-Z's 444 album. Happen to have that joint tatted, and I know I've done some other albums or some other songs from that album as well. But when I was thinking about what song is going to help me drive this point home, what does it mean to be the bag? Like, there were plenty of songs out there. I almost went with, I probably had like 4 or 5 songs down before I stuck with this one, but none of them really hit in this way. And the reason why I love Jay-Z's 444 is because, not just the album, but the song Legacy, is because it's talking about stuff that, like, again, is new conversations in the last 2, 3, 4, 5 years for a lot of folks, especially in Black and brown communities, right? But the whole song is a vibe. Like, it opens up with Blue saying, "Daddy, what's a will?" Like, that's a big deal. How many of us have wills, right? How many of us even understand what a will and a trust and life insurance and all those different things that I'm not even going to go into right now, because that's not what this specific show is about. But stuff that's important, right? And Jay even says a line on the album. He's like, I'm giving you $1 million worth of game for $9.99. So my job with the podcast is to give you $1 million worth of game for free, like, and then all my ask of you is just to share it, and you can help me for free because I'm helping you for free. So, anyways, the dopest part about Legacy on 444 is the mindset, where Jay talks about, like, he ain't come from money, but that's not going to be the same case for his kids. And I think for a lot of us is, you may not have come from money, or you may have, I don't know, but that ain't the point, because generational wealth, for a lot of times, research shows, stops after about the second or third generation, right? Because a lot of cats fumble the bag. But in this case, he's talking about how, like, he didn't come from money, but he's going to make sure it comes from him. And obviously, if you know anything about Jay-Z, bruh's a billionaire, and they've set their kids up, and they've done different things to where their kids are owners and performing and making their own money and all those different things, which is the way, right? I don't want to say it should be, but a way that when you get something, you leverage yourself as the bag, you're able to position those people around you. We talked about this before, y'all. Same thing with Master P. Like, when you utilize you in the way you're supposed to be utilized, other people benefit from it. That's why you are the bag, because other people will benefit from you leveraging yourself. It just is what it is. So whether it's your kids, or it's people in your family in other areas, or just people you do life with, they will benefit from you. Okay. So, no pun intended when it comes to beneficiaries. That's funny. I didn't think about that. Anyway, so let's dive deeper, right? When you're saying, okay, Coach Rees, what's the research behind money? A whole lot. This is the best way I can say it, is a whole lot. And it's everywhere. And the way that we'll talk about money today and on the Winning in Money's podcast is similar to, I can liken it to the physical fitness, right? Like, it's all over the place. The research is everywhere. It depends on who you're talking to, right? Even when it comes to emotions, scientists and researchers don't agree on what emotions are. And that's fine, because it just is what it is, right? And so this is why I'm so adamant about you understanding that you're a party of one, essentially. You're in of one, you're a study of one. There's nobody else out there like you. So you have to do what works best for you. You have to do what is in alignment with you, what brings you peace, that is situated with your spirit, your mind, your emotions, right? Physically, relationally, like, all of this has to be in alignment. And if it's not, and you're doing it because of somebody else, or you're being blown with the wind because of different trends, you're going to find yourself somewhere you never wanted to be, or somewhere you wasn't supposed to be, especially financially. The bars are barring today. I just need y'all to catch that. Okay. So the research, behavioral finance is a part of cognitive behavioral psychology, right? Psychology, study of people, behavior, all that stuff, cognitive, the brain, all that. It's basically the why we do what we do with our money. So the same way we do with our behavior and all that, like why do we do what we do when it comes to our money? And that'll be a lot of what anchors the Winning and Money podcast as well. Show the Winning and Money show, okay, not podcast. Anywho, it's important and it matters because money ain't you don't it money isn't just okay, I got money and then you just do what it does. Like we all have money behaviors, we all have money habits, we all have money attitudes, we all have all of that stuff. So if you're not cognizant of why you do what you do when it comes to your money, you're going to be making decisions that you don't really want to make. Right. And I'm definitely sitting here being like, ooh, I didn't mean to make that decision. I didn't want to make it. I made it too soon. I shouldn't have made it, even after I got advice, all the above. I'm human in all of it. So the research behind this is really just trying to humanize your money moves, right? Humanize why you've done what you do. And then if you want to move in a different way, here's how we can cognitively move in a way that allows us to make moves that align with who it is that we want to be and how we want to see our financial futures, right? So when I think about my story, when it comes to Karen and talking about money, I really think it comes from like connected to wanting to see people enjoy their life. I've just always wanted to see people enjoy their life. And once I got an understanding that your purpose is connected to people and profit and giving and experiences and all those different things, I was like, yo, like there's another level and layer to this. So from an early age, I really caught on that there were certain things I got to do growing up that friends growing up didn't get to do. And because we had more funds and my mom was able to do certain things, like we could bring along people with whether it be trips and things. And we had a timeshare and we traveled all the time. My grandma was a traveler. She'd been to like over 70 countries. And so that's where I got my love for traveling from. My mom and I traveled every single break. So like I've just certain things that I was able to do. It was like, oh, I realized like that wasn't something for everybody. And I fell in love with obviously experiencing life to this degree. And then I realized like, okay, there's another level to then just experiencing life, right? And money. And the purpose piece. And I was like, yo, okay, how do I connect all these? And I started learning more about humans. And then I started learning more about real estate and multiplication. This is at like 19. So I've been studying real estate since like 19. And then I got into it actively at 26. So for those who, or no, 25. So those who don't know, I'm a real estate investor. I used to be a real estate agent and I do short-term, long-term, all that. From that piece, I've been an entrepreneur since I was 19. And so I've really enjoyed this aspect, but I've always enjoyed the aspect of human before anything else, right? And that's what led me to studying behavioral psychology, behavioral finance, in this way, of really understanding like not just entrepreneurship and leadership, but how does that connect to money and how people manage and live their money and create their lives and budgets, this and that, and all that other fun stuff. And I never wanted to be a CPA, which for those who don't know stands for Certified Public Accountant. I don't care about that. And I never want to be a CFA, which is a Certified Financial Analysis. None of that excites me at all. I care about like helping the purpose in people, right? Which is why I get to come at it from the avenue that I do and helping people understand themselves better, which helps them, I believe, understand their money moves. And then I connect them to CPAs and CFAs so that way they can get the logistics down of how they do that, which again is the root of you-ish is like, you got to know you got to know what excites you. Like I know cats who are in school right now and doing different things. And they're just like, ooh, I don't want to be an accountant. Like, I don't want to go down this road. I don't want to do statistics. I don't want to do this. Like, you got to know what you want to do. Like, right? I might not want to get my MBA because I don't want to do this part. Or I want to do it, but I didn't care about this aspect. So all of that stuff matters. I knew I really cared about money. And I cared about being able to multiply it and teaching other people how to do the same thing and understand it from a different mind frame. So that's a little bit to not go that much longer when it comes to my money story is I didn't necessarily come from generational wealth like many Black folks in America did or didn't, but I understood that I was from lower middle class-ish. to where my mom was a single mom working full time, sometimes worked double multiple jobs. My grandma was able to retire at 60, and those are the main two that that raised me. But then also, like, I understood and saw things from a different aspect where, my dad used to, he would get things for me and have to put them on layaway, or, we would do food stamps and different things. So I've got to see both sides of the coin of being able to be more affluent, but also like understanding what it's like to be less well off, for lack of better verbiage, right? In lack of better terms. And I have an appreciation for both. I have a gratitude for both. I have a pure gratitude for being able to see the way both sides, kind of live. And I do identify as a more affluent African American human being who's be able to enjoy and experience certain things. And that's why I'm passionate about teaching other people on how they can do the same thing. And I also talk about generational freedom more than generational wealth, because I want to help folks pass down more than just money, right? How do I pass down healing, right? Or the importance of healing, the importance of character, the importance of living out your purpose and giving and all those things versus just packing down or passing down some coin. You know what I'm saying? So let's get down to it a little bit more, the meat and potatoes of it. Winning and money isn't everything. It's a part of the equation, okay? Winning and money ain't everything, but it is a part of the equation. I believe winning and money helps enhance your lifestyle. Winning and money helps enhance your character and who you are. It reveals who you are. It enhances your purpose and what you want to do. And again, you can't help nobody if you don't have anything. And so having money and having funds enhances your ability to do certain things. The other part is that there's a lot of studies out there right now that show that we are at an ultimate low when it comes to happiness. And I'm not going to dive all the way into all this right now for the sake of time, but like happiness doesn't necessarily money doesn't necessarily equal money or happiness, and vice versa. And that's often what people think is like, okay, cool, the more money I get, the happier I'll be. But the thing is, when it comes to money, it's never enough. You know what I mean? Like, you'll get something, you'll be like, ooh, I always want more, because there's always that lure of more psychologically, internally, that we feel, and just in general. And there's also a lot of cats who are millionaires and billionaires who are just unhappy. They don't like their life. They're just unhappy with it. And so I never want anybody to feel like that there's an illusion behind winning and money, and that it gives you all the things and that then you'll finally be happy. Yes, I 100% know that being able to have funds will assist in being able to take care of our basic needs. 100%. And I think that every single person deserves to have that. 100%. But they're not everything, is the reason why I'm saying that. It's a part of the equation, right? And so the other thing is, that's where I think the world is kind of twisted, right? Is because it'll show us this facade of, oh yeah, when you have these things, you're automatically happier. But like, at what cost? What are you sacrificing? And this is where I think about too, the diet and the financial world together are very similar, where you've got thousands of different people subscribing you to do it this way, do it, real estate this, 401k, IRA, do this, there's trucks and vending machines, and be an entrepreneur, don't be an entrepreneur. Like, there's so much stuff out there that you have to remember you're N of one. And so for you to be financially well depends on the life you want to live. Like, I'm not here to tell you what that means for you, because you have to identify what that means for you. What kind of life do you want to live? What is your life philosophy? What is your mission and vision in life? If you have those things, where does money come into play? Because money is a great servant, but a horrible master. If you're led by money, you're selling your soul out for money, and your purpose out for money and some coin and all that, it's going to be a bad deal. It's going to be a long ride. And I've had situations where I had to be like, ooh, am I selling myself out for some coin right now? Right? You have to be able to stand firm in your mission and vision, because money, yes, will come and go. And I understand that money does help us take care of our basic needs, because those are things that we need to help us get out of survival, literally, physically, but also survival mode from a psychological standpoint as well. And it is important for us to be able to have that. But once you have that, now you can start making in other moves and figuring out, okay, now that I've got some stability, now that I know I'm at an age where I can actually make moves and make things happen, what do I want to make happen? So financial wellness is, are you creating and living the life that you want to live? Are you allowing your money to enhance your lifestyle? Are you allowing your money to help enhance others' lifestyles? It's like for me, I'm not into designer stuff. Like I don't care for it. I'd much rather have experiences. I was looking at a Louis bag the other day, and the bag was like $5,300. I'm like, I'd much rather have the vacation than the bag to take on vacation, right? But that, like, to somebody who makes 10 times as much as me, they don't even have that conversation, right? Versus where I'm at, I'm like, nah, it's between one or the other. And to somebody else, they're like, oh, what? I wish I can. So you have to know there's levels to this. If you don't know you don't know how you want to move in this financial space, and how you want to level up, you have to be careful of who and what you're listening to, because the conversation is going to be all over the place, right? A lot of people, even that I listen to, I'm like, that ain't made for me. That ain't made for the people I do life with. That ain't made for the people that I serve, because a lot of stuff is coming from a specific demographic. A lot of it is for white men. A lot of it's for people that don't look like me and move through the world like me. So you have to be careful on where are you getting this information from. Yeah, and who are you supporting? And not just trying to do something just to do it. And you have to know in your heart, right? Like, not like, what do you want to do? Because not everybody wants to do and be the same thing. Not everybody wants to be an entrepreneur. Not everybody wants to be a millionaire. Not everybody needs to be a millionaire. So the question I'll ask you is like, what's your number? I'll ask students this often and people this often. They're like, I just want to be comfortable. Comfortable is not a number. You saying you want to be comfortable, that's not a number, because achieving a specific number does not make you comfortable. What kind of lifestyle do you want to live? What's your do you number? And comfort is based off of internal peace, not an external amount of money that you get. So if you don't have peace and know that you have a money execution strategy and how you want to do it, how you want to lay it out, you're not going to be comfortable with it. I just want to make sure, and I get it, especially when I'm working with youth and young adults, like who haven't got to that space yet. They're just like, I want to make sure that my family's got, because a lot of students I've worked with are coming from nothing, are coming from instability and maybe experience homelessness and different things like that. So comfort to them is like, I just want stability. I get it. So if you're somebody who is not in that stage and you make a salary, you got money coming in every 2 weeks, like this is where I'm really trying to have this conversation with that demographic right now at this moment. Obviously, when I'm talking to youth and young adults, the conversation is completely different. But you have to think about, like, what's your life philosophy? What is it? How do I want money? Where does money fit into my life philosophy? And what legacy do I want to leave through my money? What does that look like when it comes to a will, when it comes to a trust? Do I want to have assets? Do I want to have life insurance? Right? These are all conversations that you should start having and doing some research on and figuring out what fits and feels good to you. What investment vehicle do I want to be in? Even as an entrepreneur, if your business is making an extra $20 to $30 to $50,000 a year and you're working another job, does that work for you? Or do you need your business to be a millionaire business? I'm like, shoot, does you-ish need to be a 7-8 figure business for me to do what I need to do? No, it doesn't, right? Because still right now, in making this podcast and doing stuff, I'm nowhere near the financial goals that I would like to be. In making this podcast, there's not a single what's that called? Where people do sponsorship. There's people out there that got $1 million podcasts that making 6 and 7 figures. I'm like, yo, that's legit. Not this one, not right now. Eventually it will be, right? And so you have to know too is, again, winning in money isn't everything, because there's sacrifices that come to it. So when I say you have to know too is like, what are you willing to sacrifice in order to get yourself and your product to a place that people are willing to invest in? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm willing to do this on a weekly basis to invest in it to where other people are also willing to invest in it. But I love the journey. I love this more than I love the funds. But I believe that my investment and dedication to this is what's going to bring the funds in the future, right? So it's more about you and who you are, but you have to be able to ask yourself those questions, right? What does comfortable mean to me? What's the legacy I want to leave? What is my life philosophy? Do I need to be a millionaire? Because in the 6-figure range, that's a whole lot of money to go from 100,000 to 999,000. That's a big gap. And you know what else is? A lot of cats is out here capping. A lot of people don't actually make what you think they make, myself included. And a lot of people don't actually make like that much, like the 100,000 6-figure plus range. Go ahead and Google that joint. It's like 10%. It's not a lot of people that are actually like millionaires and all this stuff. So I ain't gonna get into all that right now because I'll say that for another day. So let's move forward. Here's some things that I want to give to you when it comes to what is Coach Rees money philosophy, what's the you-ish money philosophy that we teach and we coach. The number one is I need you to figure out your do you number. How much does it cost for you to do you? Right? You think of the saying like, do you because I'm going to do me. Boom, love it. Do you, but how much does it cost to do you? A lot of people never really thought about that. Like, how much does it cost to do me? Okay, boom. If I think about this, it costs me X amount to do me. And I teach kids this because they need to know as they grow older, how much money do I need to bring in to make sure I'm covering my do you number, right? Your do you number is broken down into two spaces, responsibilities and lifestyle. So if I know my do you number is broken down into two different spaces, my responsibilities equals everything that if I don't pay it can mess with my psychological safety, can mess with my credit, somebody can take away from me. It can impact my living situation. It can put me in survival mode. Like that is all the things that have to do with responsibilities. So another way, rent, car, insurance, cell phone, all those different things, my responsibilities, that all goes there. The next piece is lifestyle. Then you take your responsibilities, you take your lifestyle. Lifestyle could be whatever your makeup is. For me, lifestyle is haircuts because that is massages go into lifestyle for me. I need those. Some of my performance stuff goes into lifestyle, right? The lifestyle aspect are things that you can take away and they'll affect your lifestyle, but they don't impact your responsibilities. Those are two different areas, right? Depending on how much money you make. Now we go to our income. You take your income and you subtract your do you number. Now you say income minus do you number. What do you have left over? The lesson here is I want to have equity. If I got equity in it, awesome. Now I can start making more moves in life in different areas. And that's a whole nother story for another day on how we break this down and move it into another area. The next part to that, though, is then if I don't have positive equity, I have negative equity, now we have to have another conversation because now this conversation turns into where in my lifestyle or my responsibilities do I need to make adjustments so that way I can be back even or have positive equity. Okay. So the first thing I need to think about is my do you number. How much does it cost for me to do me? And then from there, we look at my responsibilities, my lifestyles, my income. Do I have equity, negative, whatever? Boom, move on. Okay. That's the quickest way for me to explain it without going into it. But in further podcasts, I will definitely be diving into this on the Winning and Money and Everything show. So the next piece that I want to break down for you is this. Now that we kind of have an understanding of that part, I have a money execution strategy. So I don't use budget. I use money execution strategy. Reason being, a lot of folks don't like budget. It is what it is. Sometimes I'll still say it, but I want to be able to execute with my money in a specific way. The coach in me wants an execution plan. So sometimes I'll call it the execution plan or strategy plan. Here's it broken down. Responsibilities, lifestyle. Those are the first two spaces, right? Also, giving for me goes under my lifestyle. It's giving. I give. It's a part of my lifestyle. It's a part of who I am. The next piece is life happens. I use life happens versus using emergency fund because it's all about the mindset. I want to know that I'm depositing into this space, right, consistently. Then saving goes into life happens as well. And not just saving for when life happens, but saving in general because saving matters. So I think it's irresponsible to not save, like period. So you can have multiple different savings, whatever you want those to look like, but you need to be saving on a monthly basis. The next piece is happiness. Happiness is huge. Your money and the way you make money or the way you spend your money should make you happy. Money should buy happiness again because it's psychological, y'all. So not all of your ways, right? But also too, like cats be like, yes, I think rent and stuff is overpriced because it's inflation, but it just is what it is. But at the same time, like I'm grateful that I got a roof over my head. Consistently, I thank God that I can pay the bill for that, right? When I go get gas is major expensive, but I thank God that I have the money to be able to put into my tank. And I literally thank God when I fill up my tank, right? Or pay my mortgage. And though we would rather it be less, I get it. but there's still a sense of gratitude that needs to come along with it psychologically, but then also spiritually. And then the next piece though, like for the happiness piece is now you got that stuff taken care of. You need to be spending your money, in my opinion, on things that make you happy, on things that bring you joy. Within reason, obviously within the amount that you can afford on a consistent basis that fits into your lifestyle. Sometimes that may be ice cream, cookies, it may be food, it may be going to take an adventure, it may be an experience, like whatever it may be, there should be an avenue of your funds that helps, that brings you a sense of happiness. Now, this doesn't mean that I go out and all of my money goes to just this so I can feel happiness. No, this is why I say winning and money ain't everything, right? They're a part of the equation because you should also be living a lifestyle of happiness and joy and peace despite funds. And that's hard. Like that joint is hard. Why? Because life happens. So no pun intended with that. And again, I'm just giving a brief overview of something that I'm going to dive into further. And I've actually made videos about this too on TikTok and IG, so you can check those out as well. But this is a part of my teaching. So if you're somebody that's like, yo, I need assistance in this, obviously hit me up. That's a part of my coaching. And the last space is multiplication. Your money should be multiplying. Because if you know you work a salary job, you know what you're getting. You may or may not get a bonus. It may be 1 to 2 to 3 to 4%. I don't know. Some jobs you don't. I remember I used to work at 8 to 9 to 5, and you know that 3% increase was cool. But then you like, wait, that's only a couple $100, which don't do much because then your taxes go up and all that other stuff. And now as an entrepreneur, where it hits different, right? So being able to have assets in a way that you can create more value and more equity and create more assets and all that. But again, that goes back to you need to know what works for you. I have stocks, but I don't care to talk about them. They're not really like, they don't jazz me up. I love talking about real estate and all the options from that, but not stocks and Roth IRAs and 401ks. And that's okay. Don't let nobody tell you that's not like you, what, like that is the other part about financial wellness is you need to be okay with not wanting to do everything, but you also need to know what you need to do so that way you can be okay. Right? Like you don't want to leave your family to have to do a GoFundMe and try to figure out where they're going to get the money for a $25,000 funeral and this, that, and the third. No, you should have life insurance because it really isn't that expensive. So go get you a life insurance policy. What does that need to look like? Right? So that way that can be taken care of. So there are ways that are inexpensive that you can create assets out of. Again, life insurance is probably one of the biggest ones. You can buy real estate out of life insurance, all those different things, y'all. So it's really important for you to get the education that you need and to talk to somebody who feels safe enough for you to talk to about what does it look like for me to multiply my money? Because often with your job, you're not going to be able to multiply it in a way that really creates generational wealth and freedom for you, or that allows you to have that much happiness out of it, because you may be so tight responsibilities and lifestyle wise that there's not much left over to save or for happiness or to go out and buy real estate and save for that and all the other stuff like that. So figure out who you need to have the conversation with. If it's me, cool, let's have it. I can point you in the right direction. I know life insurance agencies and CPAs and CFAs and all those other things, and I can point you there and we can have it. But it all starts with you. It all starts with you, y'all. So here's the thing that I want you to do. Number one, discover your do you number. How much does it cost to do you? Do you, boo-boo, but know how much it costs to do you. Number two, I want you to create a plan, create a money execution strategy plan, right? We're looking at these 5 areas. What does it look like? Are these 6 areas? What does it look like to dive into these 6 areas? The next thing is I want you to have a conversation with your village. Have an honest money survey conversation with your village on like, what were your thoughts on debt? What's your thoughts on saving? What were your thoughts on spending? Well, like have those combos so you can be informed on why you kind of do some of the things that you do. This is the part of the behavioral psychology or behavioral finance aspect that comes into play is what we see, we usually repeat. And the last thing I want you to do is head to the website because I'm going to have some worksheets over there for you that allow you to download. And you can really like look at doing your do you number and looking at the money execution if you want to have that. But really, I want you to know financial wellness, I believe, is you being able to create and have a lifestyle. Everything is about lifestyle. The way that you live, to live out your life philosophy in a way that allows you to live out your purpose, with people, profit, but obviously though allows you to have a life of that brings you peace, not just comfort, but peace, that you can invest in these 6 areas of your life. And you can kind of do it on your terms. Another part to that is time freedom versus financial freedom, right? Like, I don't just want financial freedom, because financial freedom is, I have the money to do certain things, but I also want time freedom, right? Can you get to a space in that where you have the time to do what you want to do, when you want to do, with the folks that you want to do it, whether you work a salary job or you're an entrepreneur or not, right? Being able to have that time freedom is really irreplaceable. So financial wellness to me means me being able to execute in those specific ways. So this is just a very brief, fast overview of winning in money. And I look forward to diving into all these concepts and more, even deeper, as we go. And I start that show early July. So I appreciate y'all. I hope that this information was valuable to you. And thank you so much for rocking out with me. If you liked it, please like, subscribe, share, leave a review. Definitely tap in and send it to somebody else. But I appreciate you for being here. And I want you to remember that you are worthy of living out a life of financial wellness, and a life that you just, a life that you enjoy, right? Living life that you enjoy. I'm your host, Coach Rees. Until next time, peace.